Hello, everyone. How are you today? Happy Friday, March 15th. Another week, another live power hour. And I'm so excited today. We have a rock star guest, one of our first official guests. We had a few guests that popped in mistakenly and some that actually joined when we first started this live stream with StreamYard. But today we have an actual guest, my good friend Kim Garnett is here to dish out some inspiration on Thinkific. She's been building some awesome sites. We'll get to that in a second. So thanks a lot for joining, everybody. So let me say hi. Let's say hi in the comments. I want to see who's on. Hey, Maria, Jeff. Of course, Kim is on. She's waiting in the green room. Grisha as well. I haven't seen Grisha. I haven't seen your name. Maybe you joined in the past. So thanks a lot if this is your first time. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, every Friday, we come on here 11 a.m. Eastern, and I really want you to kind of make you think like an expert and kind of give you some sales and marketing strategies and show you some inspiration like we are here doing today. Show you how to use your superpowers and your Thinkific sites. So every Friday, that's what we're here for. And in case you missed it last week, we had a really good session. You can always catch the replays really instantly on our site. We're using StreamYard. That's the benefits of using StreamYard. The replays are available instantly. I don't have to upload or download like we did with Zoom. Saves me a ton of time. And also it's available instantly. So check it out. Last week we did the curator funnel. So this is like an awesome way to build an audience, to basically, create new ways of, getting people interested in you and your courses. And we showed a few different examples, 3 kind of main types of ways you can do this. So I'm not sure if anybody has tried this yet. I know a few people had mentioned they were going to try it. Let me know in the comments if you have tried this. Love to see what you put together. So next week, a good topic. So we actually secretly released a few new superpowers inside a resource library that we haven't talked about. Even Kim doesn't know about this. That's really going to help you increase your sales by using the student dashboard as a sales funnel. So if you think about the student dashboard, it's like a gold mine, right? Because this is the page that everybody sees the very first time when they sign in, when they come back in. So if you think about students coming back in, right, they're engaged. It's an opportunity for you to present some new ways to either, sell additional courses or to get them more engaged with just nurturing content. And so we have a few new features inside of Resource Library that are actually available now that we're going to walk through, but we're also going to talk about other ways that we already have inside of our site page templates and other power-ups that are going to allow you to really use that student dashboard as a sales funnel. So I'm going to show you guys all those different topics, and I think that's really going to be a popular topic for sure. So yes, today's session, Power-Up Site Inspiration with Kim Garnett, a good friend of mine. I'm going to bring her on in a second. She's going to go through some real-world examples. She's been using power-ups for a while now, and she has some awesome examples. She has about 5 or 6 sites she's going to walk through. We're going to talk through them. You're going to see some really good examples of what she's doing, and you're going to hear about what inspired this site build. So we're going to get into that. You guys can ask questions and all. So let me actually, without further ado, let me bring Kim on so she can get on the stage here. Hey, Kim.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Rob. I call Rob, for everyone who doesn't know, I call Rob the Wizard because he's amazing. He turns out things like so fast that even I can't keep up with him. He's amazing. Thank you for having me, Rob.
Yeah, no problem. Sandy's excited to see you here. I know you kind of brought in your audience as well. So Kim is streaming to her YouTube channel as well. So cool. I call Kim, she calls me the Wizard, but I call the OG of Thinkific experts. She was an expert before I became one, and she actually got me hooked into Thinkific. So I want to thank her for that. So yeah, there's some really good stuff today.
We did, Rob. This has been an amazing duo. Rob and I are able to work so well together, and it's been an amazing to have Rob in my corner and be able to turn out his stuff so quickly and to be able to educate on his stuff and use his stuff more than anything. So thank you for that, Rob.
Yeah, no worries. Like we love hearing like requests for things. I think many of the features that we have in our products, Kim has actually asked for at some point in time. I think actually resource library. I think Kim, you were the one that actually finally made me like, hey Rob, can you please do this?
Good. Yeah, you're not sick of my midnight on Saturday. Hey Rob, this would be really great if we could have this.
So many good ideas. I love hearing them because like if Kim's asking for, I know when Kim asks for it, it's kind of different because she's working with so many different people. So she actually represents a lot of voices, right? When we see individual requests come from members, we love to hear them as well too. But the whole idea is like if she's asking for it, I'm like, man, a lot of people need this, when you guys ask for it as well, it's like, okay, cool. We'll think about it. And if we like, wow, that's a really good idea. We think it's applicable to a lot of people. It'll kind of, bump up in our priority, but we love hearing these ideas because we know there's so many different combinations of using things and just kind of, like different ways of implementing stuff on Thinkific. So yeah, some really good stuff we have here today. Sandy, our sites are much better for their collaboration. I can't speak today. So, yeah, this is going to be great. I can't wait to jump into this, Kim. So are you ready to kind of like queue up your first site here and we'll kind of start going through it?
I am ready.
Yeah. So this is going to be good, guys. So as we're going through, we'll kind of pause and see what you guys think. Ask questions. The whole intention of this is, yes, you're going to be dazzled by Kim's kind of like awesomeness as her creativity and her design skills. But really, it's for you guys to learn, like, okay, what went into this site? What are these sections specifically? We have a lot of things. So just understanding what these things are, ask these questions so you guys can learn and maybe possibly even start implementing something similar this weekend. So
yeah, and I think they're all, the design aspects are never just to make it pretty. Like I look from like at every site from a user experience and a marketing perspective. Sites can be pretty and that's great, but if they're not going to convert, then they're useless to make it's useless to make a pretty site. So everything I look at, I design from a marketing and user experience perspective.
Yeah, certainly a science behind it all. People get so caught up with how things look, and that's just a certain, type of aspect of it. There's definitely a strategy in the order of things, the type of page you're putting together. And what people often forget is like, who is actually seeing this page? It's different if somebody's coming to see a page and they never even heard of you before. Like there's more you need to convince them, right? There's more that you need to convey to them. And we talked about in one of the other sessions, like you're going to have the readers, you're going to have the watchers, you're going to have the people who just want to jump to the price and testimonials. Like you need to hit all these different types of people so that you can, make sure you're addressing everybody. So a lot goes into it. And then like icing on the cake is like, yeah, make it look good. Add some of these effects and all that we have to make it look pretty. So, Jeff, Kim took our site from pretty to producing.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff, we're going to do your site first. So I'm really
awesome. Let's jump into it. Jeff is here. Man, that's great. We have Jeff, who's actually one of the sites we're going to show today. So let's jump into it. Kim, let's go. Let's take a look at Jeff's site.
He's on a tight timeline, so I'm gonna move through this. So let's do.
All right, let's do it
here. Awesome. So Jeff, forgive me, but I'm gonna do a little before website. So this is actually still live. We'll be moving this over to his Thinkific site, but basically, our job was to sort of recreate this site that's missing a lot of components. The flow wasn't good. There's this that comes up, right? There's all these things happening with this original site. So this is the before, and this is the after.
Wow.
So the huge, right? Like massive difference. The first thing I really wanted, it was they gave me some creative license, which maybe was a little bit jarring at first for them. But I think it really captures, they do incredible work in this arena. And I really wanted to showcase and pull people into this field.
Uh-oh. I think Kim froze.
So that was part of the strategy of this, video in the background immediately at the top to, videos and images are about emotional connection. So immediately I wanted to do that.
Okay.
So this is the homepage here. And generally a homepage, your job on a homepage is to kind of move visitors into action as quickly as possible. It's not to cover every component of your business and your academy and every course. It's to move them to where you want them to go and ultimately where they want to go on the website. So this is the section here that we are going to move them into action. So it's actually the same course. There's a community as well, but we have two different target audiences, two different buyer personas, two different things we need to do with them. So we actually have two different sales pages for that. And then we have the option to purchase that same course as a gift for a couple.
Hey, Kim, I just want to pause you for a second there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, I just want to let you know, you kind of froze up just really quickly, but you're good now. So you're everything's good to go. I just want to make sure you could hear me. Can you scroll back up to the top for a second? I really love the background video that you have there. Like it immediately draws attention. And I wanted to ask, like, I had a question about that font that you use up top. Was that like a text effects thing where you added a different font up there?
Yeah, it is. It was part of their branding guide. And so I think this is dancing script or something like that we used for this. It's a text effect. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys know, like, there's only a few options for fonts, and we get this question all the time about custom fonts, and like text effects really allows you to inject like your own font wherever you want. Like if you want it on the banner, like you're not stuck and limited to kind of like what you're getting with the settings. So really awesome. And then that next section, I really love how you're kind of like speaking to type of person, so you can drive that type of person to their particular page. That's really, really awesome.
Correct. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to point out, which I just love, are these buttons. We were really so limited with CTA buttons previously, but we can do so much more with them with your SBT buttons now, Rob.
Yeah.
So this is just a simple.
And I think that was another one you had asked for. Like, Rob, you're like, I need to do different buttons. And they're like, you only get primary and secondary with Thinkific. So we're like, yeah, why don't we just let you have like whatever you want on buttons? So we love those buttons too. And it's like easy to replace them on certain sections. Not everything works all the time on every section. So we feel like, it's like, I always like, sometimes I have a dark button, which is my primary, and it's on a dark background. I was like, no, I want a different type of button there. So this was like a perfect use of that. So yeah. And I love the little effects there.
Yeah, love it. Everything is so engaging about this, and this micro commitment. Just again, when we can hover over it and it does something, it creates this, want to click on it because it's done something. There's movement there.
Yeah, and even as you scroll down the page, I like how you're using the emojis and also that scroll highlighter. I think that's another one from our text effects where it's like you're calling out attention on the call to action links. As you're scrolling, every single time you scroll up and down, it kind of goes, whoop, like pay attention here, pay attention here. So yes, makes it look better, but it's also strategic,
Absolutely. So again, these are the same course, two different sales pages, and then this is a gift option. So let me take you into the sales page for this one, which is sort of the main audience here. So again, we've got the consistency of the video header in the background. We've got the micro commitment here. Same fonts, same feel. And considering that some of the people who come to this page are going to be a warm audience and they just want to skip right to the pricing and let me in, we've got this one. And then the learn more is actually an anchor link, which takes you down to this first section to start people You know, what we're doing here, this is always pain points and problems. So we need you to identify with, am I on the right page? Is this for me? Do I have these problems? So it scrolls you down to this section here. So those anchor links are amazing to be able to use those now on our sites.
Looks great. Yeah, and you're kind of doing like a zebra pattern there, which is awesome. Another sort of subtle thing in the design, especially when you have a lot of text. You know, it's like focus to the left, and now my eye's going to the right, right? So now it's like back to the left. So yeah, really nicely done. And also, like, lots of people, when they have text like this, they're not formatting things, like just a simple like bolding or a different color or changing up the size a bit. You know, it really kind of breaks it up and creates that space for people to actually, you know, draw their eyes to it. So yeah, really nicely done. Love the pictures as well. It looks great. You can definitely tell what kind of site this is about, right? So
yeah, we want them to know immediately, like, you know, what is this about? Am I in the right place? Do I have these problems? And if yes, okay, we've got the solution. So here's where we're going to start introducing you to that solution.
So you just converted somebody, Kim, and this person, I think it's Chris Lockwood. He's a tough cookie, you know, Chris. So he says he's not usually a fan of video backgrounds, but it's perfect for this site. So you just converted Chris.
Awesome. So this is just, you know, the promo video. And then we've got this little section here, which is just a little, you know, I see a lot of, and I know you do too, Rob, see a lot of people who use like the course outline or the curriculum outline. I think it's like Thinkific's default section. That will never convert buyers. The name of your lesson will never convert buyers. So using a section like this, where, you know, this is really the outline of the course, but this is the primary benefit of this particular module, is so much more effective than giving the names of the lessons and the modules or chapters within the course.
Yeah. This comes from our master courses, you know, site page template collection. And, you know, it's really nice because it hits those both types of people, the watchers who want to see the video, but also the explorers, right? That really want to drill down and go into your curriculum and, you know, kind of see all the things. And it doesn't create it like, if you, let's say, I don't know how many lessons are inside of this particular course, but let's say you did have one of those big ass courses, I call them, and there's lots of lessons, right? You can, you know, purposely minimize that here and kind of just make the key points. But if you really want to show everything, you could, and it just doesn't take up the scroll because it has that mini scroll area. So, you know, it's up to you how you want to use it, but, you know, you just kind of, you know, make sure you're thinking about, you know, walking people through your curriculum and not overwhelming them, essentially. And I think this type of section is perfect for it. And I love that you have that video in there as well with a thumbnail. Lots of times when people upload the video and it's like caught them in this weird, weird spot, and they don't realize, like, yeah, you just need a graphic and you just upload it, and it blends so nicely with the background too. So yeah, nice.
So then we come down to here. So again, you know, bullet points, right? Keeping it and with the, you know, for the people who really, you know, connect to images better, we try and match the images to the messaging, but it's broken up. It's not great big reams of long text, because people scan. Most people will not read the whole thing, but they'll scan through. So a section like this is perfect for kind of highlighting the main components.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Crystal was asking, what is that scrolling section? I think she was just talking about that curriculum section we were just doing. That's coming from our master courses site page templates collection. I forget the name of the section, exactly the name, but if you look and you'll see a graphic that looks just like this. It's one of our newer ones. I think we released it, I want to say in February or January, sometime this year. It was one of the newer ones. Recently. So check it out for sure.
Yeah. Let's go down here. So then we've got the, you know, introducing the founders and the instructors. And then
can you scroll back up? Can you scroll back up to that one section there for a second?
Which
so Kim has a gradient background on this section, right? Or maybe it's an image, but just notice the subtle gradient, and it's really great because it's not a plain color. I dropped a video yesterday on Facebook. It's another Dickie Diggler video. I'm like obsessed with this guy. I really need to have him on, because this was just last week we did, or the week before we did a background image thing, right? And this was a whole Dickie Diggler problem. But then I said, okay, let's show you guys an easier way. And so I put together like these gradients, 20 gradients that you guys can just use instantly, copy and paste. But the idea
Awesome.
behind gradients really up levels your site because it's different than just a plain color, even just a
Yeah.
subtle. Like I have super subtle ones. These were like a subtle pack. And then I
Mhm.
also show you how to use AI to basically ask for any gradient. You don't need to go into Canva. You don't need to learn, imaging. Just boop, boop, copy and paste, and you're good to go. So check that
Awesome.
out. I'll share that link in a few minutes so you guys can check it out. But as you were doing that, it just reminded me of that useful video that we put out yesterday.
Yeah, this is a gradient background, Rob, and I love it because it's not quite so in your face and it doesn't really break up the page so harshly. It just kind of nicely blends and makes this section stand out a little bit more.
Yes. Awesome.
So this has had many iterations. Jeff is actually working on, making all the text kind of the same amount, the same number of characters, so it looks a little, more streamlined here. But this is what we landed on for this. Again, just to really, take the key points and put them in front of people. They don't need all the details. They need the key points, key benefits, key features, those kind of things. So we don't want to bog them down with all of that on an already long sales page. So this is what we decided on for this one. Then we've got a big, testimonial from a well-known author. Wanted that to really stand out. So we used, what is this one, Rob? This is one of your.
Yeah, this is from the testimonials site page templates collection. So this is we call them these are like large testimonials, and you have to think about your strategy around testimonials. We did a whole session on this, so go to the replays and you can see like all the ideas behind like strategies on testimonials. This one we love because it has that little text that's like pointing to the thing. Now Kim has an image there, but you can also drop in a video if you wanted to. Watch the video. We also have it so that you can have like the type of person there, which is always a great thing to mention, because if I am recognizable to that type of person, then it's going to draw my attention to that. So, and it has the built-in highlighting as well. So yeah, we really love this, this type of section. It's in the testimonial pack.
Yeah, love it. So this is one that you were talking about, Rob. So this is actually the
Oh
same
yeah, there you go.
section, but it's got a video, right? And this one is a video as well.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
then
And it kind of goes back and forth, keeps their attention without crowding the page.
yeah. So those are the sort of the most poignant ones that I wanted to highlight, testimonials, but I didn't want to make this testimonial section like so long with, 8 large images. So then we just added this, smaller testimonial section that flows right from the original one.
Cool. Yeah, just a few questions, Kim, that coming up as you were going through that. So Grisha, by the way, Grisha, what we're showing you here, when we mention these collections, you can get them either individually, right? We have these collections and they contain a set of sections, or you can get what's called a power up pass, which is essentially you get access to everything, right? So so check that out if you want. But as far as the text, I think you were talking about the pointing text over there. That's not part of the image. So whenever we have text, we always like to have text not as an image, because then it tends to shrink when you're on mobile. So we always allow you to kind of make it easy to change that. So that's just a setting inside of the site builder. You just type in whatever you want, and then it just appears there, and it appears in that script font. It's already kind of built in.
Love it. It really kind of breaks things up and really like draws your eye in a different way. It's not so texty, just having it on an angle with the arrow looks more like handwriting. I love it. So then here we did another gradient, Rob, so you can see it's white up here. And then because we wanted to use this kind of peach image background that they provided.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it blends so nicely.
We just kind of faded in here, right? So I really like it. It flows. You want your eye to flow.
Yeah.
You want the whole thing to flow. And I think it does with this.
This is actually I was going to include this in my gradient tutorial I did yesterday, which Cedric followed by. I love action takers. So Cedric, congratulations for taking action since yesterday on this. Share your page. I love to see it. But this is kind of a 1-2 punch where you have the gradient end in a color, and then the next section kind of like starts with that color. So you can see in Kim's example here, it ends in that peach color, and then it immediately like starts with that color, right? So you have 2 sections combined, but they feel kind of like all connected, and it's not so choppy.
Yeah.
So I love it. That is really awesome. You had an image there, but it blends so nice because it's the same exact coloring.
Yeah, and that was the challenge, right? You didn't want this choppy image to be in there. We needed to blend it in so that your eye continued to flow down, and so that's what I did there.
Yeah, Maria loves it too. I love that peach and graphic.
Awesome. Then we've got the pricing section, and down here we wanted to make it known that you could buy this as a gift, so that if someone was on this page and they weren't necessarily looking for themselves, generally I won't do like multiple call to actions on a page, but we wanted them to be able to do that. So if they click here, they actually go over to the gift page, but it's not so in your face. This is still the main call to action, is enroll in the course, but this one is like, if you want to actually gift this, now we'll move them over. So we've just used, a hyperlink in here in order to do that.
Yeah. I love, this is one of my favorite pricing sections when you have like, kind of like a longer-ish sort of page where they may forget like what they actually read up above. So this has that nice sum it up section on the right-hand side. You have the visual. So you can put in any image you want, can decide to put a mock-up, which is kind of a nice way to kind of showcase what is included, right? For the visual people. And then you have the bullet list. So it's like, sum it up. What did I just read? And here you go. Here's a quick reminder. You want to pay $129, here's what you're going to get. And also that money back guarantee down below. And the nice personal note from Jeff and Debbie down there. It's just like, I love this pricing section. I love it.
I really like the fact that you included this, because this makes it feel so much more personal than just like this standard checkout, So I really like using that where I can. Then we've got a scroll section for some of our mentors, FAQs. Again, I think I used almost all SPT sections on this page here.
Yeah.
And then again, we used, some favicons here that were not favicons, font awesome icons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really blended in. Like, it's not the standard, check mark kind of thing here.
Yeah. So just so you know, guys, by the way, so in all of our site page template collections, we include Font Awesome, right? Which is a collection of thousands of icons you can use. And again, it's just these short codes. So anywhere there's text, like anywhere there's text, you can drop in these short codes and literally the icon appears. Poof. Somebody was asking about the new Twitter X icon. So we already have that because we're including the latest version, right? And you can include that inside there. So you literally just drop it in there. Anytime we have a section that includes icons, we always put this little like note, grab a Font Awesome icon and literally click, search for something, copy and paste, poof, and you're done, Yeah. So yeah, it's like the possibilities are endless here. And the whole idea is like, yeah, it's like change it up. You have all these options. Like you have to think about it. People have seen these types of pages for years now. Like this is not the first time we're doing like a sales page, right? For a course, it's been going on for a year. So when you kind of come out with these different approaches, that underline effect, the arrow, different icons, like it draws attention, and people will read it. So.
Yeah. And then this is, I think, another good use of gradient, because, the header and footer are solid background and they tend to really like break up the page a lot. So I just did a gradient background here to fade it in, with the final call to action being sort of the opposite color.
Yeah. Love it. It's just fading right into the footer, right? So the footer's a solid color. And you're right. If you just had solid, it feels like almost choppy, like you're kind of like going down a bumpy road with like speed bumps, Yeah. In this case, it's like easing into it. And you're, this topic, the marriage and last thing is very emotional, right? So you want to ease people into these things too. So awesome. I love everything you did. And it looks like everybody else loves it as well, Kim.
Awesome. Yeah, this was a really fun site to work on. This is the gift page here. I just wanted to show you a couple of things, like things that people don't think of, like being able to include just a simple form, a jot form, a tally form, a type form, something like that, that you can add into these pages. And the Swiss embed, you can just put that in anywhere, which makes it, just so easy to drop those kind of things in.
Absolutely. Even like that section right above it where you have the image on the side.
Yeah.
That's one of our text and mega media sections. So anywhere there's media in our site page templates collections, you can drop an embed code. So if you wanted to have the form sitting on the side of text, you can also do that as well. So yeah, we know there's things you may want to embed inside of your site, forms, other sorts of things as well. There's so many apps out there you can use to enhance the site experience. So Tally, we love, like you get so much more for free on the Tally plan.
Totally.
Than Typeform. So yeah, we love Tally. So
yeah. We did something really cool with this one, because we didn't want to, with Thinkific, you have to set up either a course, a community, or a bundle as a product. And we wanted them to be able to buy one of these things. So we just used the
Oh,
Tally form, integrated it with Stripe, and they don't have to buy it on Thinkific, even though they're on the Thinkific, like they're on Jeff's,
yeah.
Thinkific site. They can just buy it through Tally here, which
Interesting.
works really
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so this is a thank you page. So this is an after purchase page, right? It's just a custom page on the site for those who enroll in the couples course. And the first part here is just telling, one of the biggest things about leaving reviews on Thinkific is that most people don't put in an image or have their full name or things like that. So it's not particularly credible because it's just text, which
Yeah.
anyone can make up and put on a website. So for this one, we actually told them how to update their profile before they even get started so that it shows up properly in the community, etc. But it's also, if they leave a review, we want that to show up on the review so we can take a screenshot of it. Or when we add it to a page, it's more credible because it's got a
Yeah.
headshot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so many different use cases for the, after purchase flow. Lots of times people will just leave the standard thank you page. They may not realize this feature exists. And this is one of those features that are built in already, but you can enhance it by adding these sorts of elements, it's these reminders,
with the smart
personalization. Yeah, look at that, right? So you have the person's name, right? So it's just a nice, friendly thing before you, like, lots of times people just jump right into the course and it's like, whoa, wait a second.
With that default, get started, like it's so impersonal. It doesn't bring them in and start that engagement, right away. That's what we want to do. We want to, this needs to be, the flow doesn't stop once they purchase.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, sure, you could probably put this in the first lesson of a course, but you need to think about, like, if they go right into the course, they see all those chapters and lessons, they're so tempted to start, like, clicking around, right?
Yeah.
So when you have this, like, dedicated after purchase page, it's like, let's pump the brakes for a second. Let me thank you. Maybe even you put some confetti. We have some confetti if you're interested in doing that, or emojis or whatever, how crazy you want that page to be, a nice welcome video. So many different ways you can use it before they get so deep into the course. So yeah, nice job there. And you have that again, that script font in the middle of that font's a perfect use for using text effects for that.
Yeah. This is the thank you page. And I wanted to show you the difference because these are things that people don't necessarily think about. So this is a thank you page for the other target audience, which is churches and leaders. So again, we're thanking them, but we're also saying, hey, while you're here, you've already bought one gift. Do you want to send another one? So when we click this, it actually takes them over to the gift page. And with an anchor link, I didn't touch that at all after I push that button. It takes them back down here so they can quickly purchase another one because they already have their credit card and they've already purchased one.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Like, so that's another reason. Use the after purchase flow. You have different thank you pages for different products, different types of people, not that standard basic one. So
yeah. And then we also say, hey, do you want to share by email or share on Facebook? You can do that as well. So what's your next step? Instead of just like, stop, we want them to keep going. If they want to keep going with us, let's give them some options to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was Jeff's site.
All right. Way to go. Nice job, Jeff. Awesome site. I'm glad you got Kim to help you out with that one.
It's amazing to work with. So this is another longtime client, one of my Academy members, Mariette. So her site before, Mariette is she's a big personality. And so, she there's a lot of stuff going on. She does a lot of stuff. She's got a very busy brain. She's brilliant. She's got all these things going on. And so her homepage of her website was very confusing because she kept adding things. And so I'm sure her bounce rate would have been very high because you went there and you didn't know what to do, where to go, what was happening. So we wanted to streamline this. Now this is all this bright pink and everything is her branding. So this is, reflective of her and this site and her branding guidelines. So up here, the first thing we want to do is we want to segment them. Hey, why are you here? Do you want to start your learning journey? Do you want to log in? Of course, there's a sign in button here, but a lot of people miss it.
Yeah.
So we've got this here. And then a freebie, get your free revenue calendar, which takes them over to an opt-in page. So the first thing we want to do is like try and segment them. Like, why are you here? How can we help? Basically.
And then again, the background video, I like how it's a montage there. Like So I can immediately see just from the video, right? I just by kind of going through, you can see it's for books, Mastering Your Books Learning Center. You can see who's speaking. There's people like, so there's some credibility built in, there's subject built in, there's her right there. Like, so you already get what's going on. People with their like hands like this and they love her. Like, so you already like, just that alone, like forget about even the text, like just that alone, it's like, okay, she sounds like somebody I may be interested in. Let me keep reading. And that's why you put the background video there with this sort of background video, right there in the hero. It's like you're immediately grabbing the person's attention to make them, continue looking at the page.
Yeah. Well, Gary V, or Gary Vaynerchuk, as some people know him, is famous for saying attention is the currency, right? So there is so much noise online. We have to get their attention and keep their attention. And that is not easy to do. So we find all kinds of strategic ways in order to do that. And this video background, which was never an option before, allows us to do this. So I love it, Rob.
Yeah. Awesome.
Again, we've got, who we are and what we do, what we believe, and who we serve. So immediately, am I on the right page? Yes, I'm on the right page. Broken up, not streams of text. Then we have the, sort of homepage of video here. Then we've got our, scrolling social proof, logos, partners that she's worked with. About her. Love this section. This is one of Rob's, what's it called? The Master Collection, Rob?
Yeah, I think this one's from the Master Courses.
Yeah.
So this one is the instructor section, and it has their social links. So, keep them connected to you.
Yeah. And again, this isn't something I put on a sales page with these icons, because we don't want to take them off a sales page, but this isn't a sales page. This is a home page. So this is a perfect place to be able to say, hey, let's connect further. Right. Then this was another text effect that was really fun and just kind of fit the brand that we added in there.
Gets my attention right away. Like, you don't really see this a lot. And sometimes it may be too much for a lot of people, right? Yeah. But in some cases it could, and it works really well here, especially the colors, and this is just a simple image. You can change the image in the background and just kind of moves in the background. So again, just these subtle things draws attention, catches your eye, stops the scroll. You don't see this typically on lots of pages, so it's different. These sorts of elements really makes a difference. Yeah.
And so on her page, to streamline everything and easily move people to where they want to be, instead of this big confusing, look here and look here and look here, we're using the resource library on here, which was the perfect scenario for it. So we've got, different filters. So with the resource library, you can filter, and it just easily helps people figure out, either by learning topic or, I love this part, meeting you where you're at. Am I starting from scratch? Am I filling in my learning gaps? Am I ready to reignite my business? Or am I an accounting professional? And just based on that alone, it's really easy to find what I'm looking for. And then these will lead to different, sales pages, opt-in pages, etc.
Yeah. I mean, so lots of times, like before people had this, what I would see is they would have things on the page and lots of things in their navigation. And what happens is people have to navigate to different pages. You're basically making them work a lot, like so much effort to kind of connect your dots, right? So what this does simply is like, let them kind of filter it out before having to navigate to the pages. And even if you wanted to, you can have some sidebar pop-ups to have some brief information and then go in. So it just keeps them on the page and reduces the frustration, even with a sample size of this, it just makes it more personalized and kind of guide them to that particular, piece of content. So, or course.
Yeah. So love that section. It's really just made everything less confusing. And then we've got this sweet little testimonial section at the bottom. And then we've got some floaters that come up. I don't know why they're not coming up. We had some little hearts that were coming up here. Marriott may have changed it. See, once I'm done with a site, it's up to the client to change it, edit it. I give them the tools to be able to do that. I don't want them to be held hostage by me. Yeah. So I love the fact that she can go in and work on her pages and her site without relying on me to have to do it for her.
Yeah, and I noticed that some of the testimonials don't have images, which is a challenge for a lot of people to get images of people. So a couple of things I do for that. I think maybe somebody mentioned that before. Grisha said like, hey, I have so much trouble getting images from my clients. Sometimes it's just work for them to give you the image. Like, where's that file? Where's that good picture of mine? They don't remember where it is, but they're usually on social, right? So you can always go to their social profile. Hey, I grabbed this picture. Is this okay? I use this, right? you know, so that's a way for you to get pictures if you want to. And then even without the pictures, I think this looks great because it has that script text, you know, and it's not so much about the picture really, you know, it's about what the testimonial is and putting it there. But yeah, of course, having pictures would be so much better, but there's lots of other ways you can kind of deal with that, you know?
Yeah, and I also think it depends on the audience. I think that's a good segue into this. So this is another client of mine, Bina. She's wonderful. She does counseling for lawyers. She used to be a lawyer. Now she does counseling for them. This is a perfect example of, you know, her clients don't necessarily want their photos or their full name. So we have to find other ways to do that in certain circumstances. Photos are best, videos are gold. But if you can't do that, then, you know, sections like this still allow it to look pretty credible without a photo.
Yeah, and this one's from our testimonial pack as well. That same one that had those other kind, and this one you can see the one that's in the center basically is, you know, not dim. The other ones are kind of dimmed out, so it draws your attention just to that one. So if it's they're scrolling by and they hover over, they can just focus on that one and not get distracted. So yeah, I like the use of that one.
And this is another, you know, gradient background where we wanted it to stand out, but we don't want it too in your face. So it's gradient, sort of white, green, and then white at the bottom again. So it fades into the two sections before and after.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And that's a great point about the pictures. Not everybody wants the pictures, so it kind of depends.
Yeah. It's best if you can get them. I'm all, you know, I think the social proof is far more credible with videos or images, but there's some circumstances like this that the clients don't want that to be out there. And that's okay too. We just have to find ways around it.
Yeah. And Kathleen just said lack of photos can be tricky, but the ability to have spruce up text really fills the gap and doesn't make the lack of images so stark. Yeah. So that's little script text. We even have in our testimonial packs the ability to highlight words. So it's another strategic thing you might want to think about doing is highlighting the key words, because then that breaks up the text and it also draws attention to, you know, the keywords. Like, you know, so what would you highlight? You would highlight like results, right? Or the before and after, you know, like those sorts of things that are impactful for decision making, you know?
Yeah. So we basically, her site was pretty bare bones Thinkific site before, and we wanted to make it into a fully fleshed out website. This is her primary website. She's using Thinkific for that. So again, we've just taken, you know, a ConvertKit. We basically set up an opt-in funnel in ConvertKit, embedded into here, and we could do that with that SPT text and media section, Power Up. So that's what we've done here. Love these ones. I don't think these are these SPT, Rob? I can't remember whether these are.
Those look like they're from one of our other Power Up sections kit, I believe. It could be. We have so many that look similar as well. This could be an image cards. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look at it, but either way, it looks great. So you have the pictures, but the people who want to see what it's about, you hover and you see just a simple text. So it describes and you have them linked to something. Is that what you're doing here?
Yeah, they're all linked to something. So this one, learn more, book an appointment, view webinars and workshops, and they all link to different pages.
Nice.
Yeah. What else have we got here? I think there was a couple more things on this site that I wanted to show you. Yeah, this was a really interesting, you know, she has a lot of customized webinars and workshops that she does. And so we really needed a way to, again, quickly allow people to self-segment instead of scrolling, you know, all through and like, is this one for me? Is this one for me? Is this one for me? We give them all of them at the top, basically, and anchor link them, jump them down the page based on what they've chosen. So, you know, if they choose lawyer, well-being, and mental health, and we click on that, it takes them down to that section of the page. So they didn't have to scroll the whole thing to get to where they want to go.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that was what I wanted to show you on that page there. So this is, you know, a lot of people feel like they need to build their funnels somewhere else. But we often just build them right on the Thinkific site if they're already using the Thinkific site. So this is sort of a typical opt-in page. Literally all that's on this is what they're going to get. Like, here's the offer, put in your name and email, which gets them on her list. So this would, you know, a simple lead generation funnel where you want their information so you can begin to nurture them and move them through, hopefully, to a sale of some kind. And then once they do that, they get to this page, which looks very similar. So there's no like abrupt where did I just go? That's part of the thing with sites is people, the moment you introduce confusion or sort of abruptly stop them, is the moment that they're going to probably leave or reconsider, which we don't want. So it's a very smooth transition from opting in to this page here, which is basically the lead generation funnel page. And then we move them into the next step from there. So this isn't a tripwire page, really is just a simple lead gen funnel, but this was all just built on Thinkific really easily with your SPT section.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a good point too. You just mentioned like lots of times people overcomplicate things, especially for a type of page like this where you're literally just you want somebody to raise their hand, like I'm interested in this, and you want them to get
Yeah.
on your list, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need all the things, right? You don't need all the things.
Don't
You don't
need
need
all
all
the
these
things.
sections. Sometimes they
No.
backfires because now they start getting confused, And so yeah, it's great. You literally could just have one section like this and make it so simple. And yes, when you start like navigating between different sites and you get lost, and then people start putting different things in the browser bar and they click the
Yeah.
back buttons, like they can break it so easily and end up in that confused state, which is something you don't want at that point,
Yeah. And I think this is the first site I'm showing you probably has the mega nav menu at the top, which is so
Yep.
helpful when we have, a page or a site with so many pages and we want a really easy way to navigate. So this one we use the mega nav on just to
Right.
simplify things. Yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick note on that, and then Lori had a question about so I'll actually address Lori's question. So what is ConvertKit? People are not sure. So ConvertKit is an email marketing platform, right? So
Mhm.
inside of Thinkific, you get basic email, which is really no automation besides, people signing up and getting a welcome email. When you start getting a little more advanced, you really want an email marketing system where you can, create these sequences and automation and tracking and all these things. So you really, really need that. There's lots of different versions or different platforms: MailChimp, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign. I use ConvertKit. Do you use ConvertKit as well, Kim, or use ActiveCampaign?
Yeah, I run the four sections of my business all through ConvertKit. The reason I
ConvertKit, yeah.
think ConvertKit is really, I mean, there's differences, but the two that I will generally recommend if you're using Thinkific are ActiveCampaign and ConvertKit. And the big difference is ActiveCampaign has CRM, customer relationship management ability, where ConvertKit really doesn't. But both of them seamlessly integrate with Thinkific. ConvertKit, you can be on a lower Thinkific pricing plan to use ConvertKit. And can I just say one more thing about that, Rob?
Yeah, go for it.
It's not, Thinkific allows you to send one welcome email and one completion email. But if you have someone coming into a course that would typically take 12 weeks, let's say, to complete, part of your job as an educator is to do as much as possible to help them move through that course. And so some kind of onboarding email sequence, member onboarding email sequence, course email sequence is really important, because if they don't finish the course, they won't leave a review. They'll never buy another course from you. They'll have a bad taste in their mouth about this. So, one email when they start a course and one email when they complete it, in my opinion, is not enough, which is why you really do need something like ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign that has true tag-based automation and seamlessly integrates with Thinkific.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even in this case, so you're getting a free workbook, right? You want to do what's called a nurture sequence and send them
Mhm.
some additional content that will
Mhm.
be helpful to kind of like nurture them and get them more
Mhm.
deeper interested. And then at some point, potentially, offer them to join your course. So you really need to think about email marketing and automation. You need a platform like ConvertKit for sure. And I
Yeah.
would recommend that one for all the reasons that Kim mentioned as well: seamlessly integration and all the pricing points as well. So. And also, just one other
Yeah.
thing on this, like on these landing pages, you could also potentially hide the navigation. So we have a section inside of our Swiss Power Up, which is basically hide the nav. Well, so why would you want to do that? Well, it depends in this case. Like, if you're directing people directly to a landing page, you may not want them to start browsing around. In some cases, you may want them to browse around. So it will be up to you to kind of like decide if you want to, hide the navigation and kind of like force them to take action essentially without getting,
Mhm.
distracted. So there's a few different options you can do here in this case.
Absolutely. And you know what? Probably I imagine, I mean, generally on any kind of funnel, you want to hide the header and hide the footer. When we built this, I don't think that option was actually available. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't see this here, because generally I will not have those on funnel pages of any kind.
Yeah, and it also kind of depends how you landed here too. Like I think you ended up here from the other pages. So sometimes if you hide the header and it came from something else, from another website page, they may get confused on how to get back to. So it really kind of depends.
Yeah, you got to know your strategy, right? You don't do
Yeah.
anything without a strategy. Don't put something on a page just to fill space or because you think it should be here. You got to know why you're doing it. I think that's a huge missing component. It doesn't matter how pretty it is. I mean, it does matter at it, on some level, but if they're not going to push that buy button or that next step CTA button, then a pretty site is pointless. Are you with me, Rob? Did I lose you?
I am with you. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I was looking at the comment. Somebody else was sorry. Yes. Yeah. Is Rob frozen? No, he's still here. ConvertKit or HubSpot. I know a lot of people use HubSpot. I don't know, like it doesn't have the native integration. And this isn't an email marketing session. We probably should do one of those, Kim.
Yeah,
I think we can offer
one.
really some good value there. But HubSpot doesn't have the native integration that ConvertKit has with Thinkific. So you have to then start using Zapier and get a little more complicated. And I don't really know like what is better or not, HubSpot. And some people use Flowdesk. Like there's so many different like email systems out there for sure.
Yeah.
I guess the idea is like, okay, use what you're comfortable with. I have a whole thing on email marketing itself, but I'm not going to go into that rant right now. But use what you're comfortable with. Don't let these tools distract you. See how you can understand the concepts, right? Understand the concepts and why they're important. The tool is just a delivery mechanism for you to execute these strategies. You need to first understand the strategy. If you don't, you're just like, just shooting darts, So
yes.
So get the strategy, then figure out the tool you need to execute the strategy, and just stick with it. Don't do the shiny object syndrome and like, oh, ConvertKit's better. Now I'm going to switch on my email over here. Stick with what you have. So Active Campaign integrates very well. Yes. Yeah. It sounds like we need to do a session on this, Kim.
I'm totally down with that. I'm totally down with that, Rob. We should plan that. Yeah.
I think so. I think that'd be a good one.
So do we have time? Should I do this one, Rob?
Yeah, let's go. We got 10 minutes to the hour. So it's like, yeah, let's do it. I know you had a few more things to show, and you also wanted to talk about your BrainyGirl University as well, or BrainyGirl.
Yeah, I wanted to show you some things in there that I thought, these are all like what are considered landing pages, but landing pages are any page on a website with a call to action. So landing pages are basically any web page is a landing page. This specifically is a course sales page. It is the final destination to decide whether I'm going to enroll in the course or not. So this is Bookbound Academy. And again, micro commitment. This was built some time ago. So there are some things, again, most of them are power-ups, but they might not be the newest power-ups that we're using on this one.
Which is okay, by the way. I just want to let everybody know, like, it's okay. You don't always like, yes, we're producing new things every single month, and you want to like that shiny objects in them. You can like things are always getting better or different, but it doesn't mean the old things are no longer good. You can still use them.
And I still think this is a great page. Yeah. So even simple things here, like just adding a little shadow to this image to help it, move forward. Let's see what I
like the underline. Again, that's just a simple little thing. I think somebody asked about, is this a graphic? Is this a thing? So this text effects power up allows you to put these short codes. So you literally just copy and paste, put it in there. And basically it's like, underline this word. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're saying, underline these words. You can change the color. We have a few different styles. Maybe you want a scribbly one that looks more hand-drawn. Like, it's just like so easy to just like, poof, there it is. And it's just these little elements draw interest to the page. So
and I love this, I love the fact that there's movement, as you're scrolling, there's movement on these things. It just really, and even when you hover over them, there's some of them sort of breathe out towards you. There's other ones that just kind of gently move. And I really like that movement aspect on these pages. This is a module. I think this is Kit, right, Rob?
I think this might be Sections Kit. Yeah. Where we have this back and forth thing essentially I like how you use it for modules. You can use it for anything really. But yeah, it's just kind of again, this whole point of like describing the modules. Like if she just had where do I start or writing your book, unleash your creative potential, just the titles, like in the standard curriculum, you're not really going to know what is inside there. Like, how are you going to, you're just guessing at that point. Right. So now the creator, the site owner can put exactly what's inside there. So it captures their attention. You have some visuals as well. so much better, than just a standard curriculum session. So many different ways of doing. That's another session I should probably do. Just a session on curriculum sections.
Yes,
10 different
yes.
ways you can do curriculum sections,
Yeah,
we kind of did a few of them in some of the other lives, but this is such an important part of the sales page to describe what's in the course. That's what people are buying. And
yeah.
it's a missed opportunity for a lot of people.
Yeah. When I guide clients through writing the copy for their pages through worksheets and videos that I have, because they know their niche. They can
Yeah.
go hire a copywriter if they want, but $300 to $25,000 a page, is it worth it? I don't know. So I guide them in writing this copy. AI is an option. I guide them through that as well. But the thing about curriculum is, like, this whole module, if we just put the lesson names, it would not explain to them what the benefit and what they're going to get out of that module is. And that's the important part. The
Right.
people who visit your sales pages, what's in it for me? That is the basis of marketing.
What am I learning? What's the end result? And God forbid, now you start having like 50 lessons with downloads and resources,
Yeah.
and the curriculum thing fills it up. Here, you
Yeah.
can just summarize it. Like, get to the point. People want to know, what am I going to learn inside? What's in it for me?
Yeah. So again,
There's that pricing section again. Yeah, I really love it. Love the backgrounds. Love how all the pages are just nicely fitting together.
yeah, here's
or the
another
sections are nicely
gradient. See
fitting
how
together.
it's more turquoise over here and a
Yep.
darker blue over here. Yeah, so pretty, standard stuff to just keep, here's another movement, right? I hover over it, and now I'm focused on this particular section. So there's some incredible power-ups. You don't have to, use all of them for sure, but all of these ones that I could not build the sites that I build now and the pages that I build now without power-ups. We could build okay pages and okay sites before. This has completely changed the game as far as what we can produce.
And you've been building Thinkific sites since what, 2015?
Yeah.
So
Long
yeah,
time.
and like, honestly, like, the cold hard truth for those of you who are maybe just joining is that we haven't honestly seen a ton of changes on that side of things in terms of the themes and the options and all that you get out of the box. There's lots of other great features, and you can if you really work hard, but we don't like you to work hard. We just want you to have an easier time. You have a hard enough time like creating your course content and like, communicating with your audience. So this is the whole point of this. And yes, Kim is an expert. She knows how to do things quicker, but we still make it simple for anybody to use, essentially. So, and this is your site now. You actually started deploying some of these power-ups inside of BrainyGirl, which, by the way, I'm going to drop Kim's link for everybody. I think I shared it already. I'm going to drop it in the chat again. If you need help from Kim, we get this question all the time. Hey, Rob, can you help us? We only have limited spots for one-on-ones, and Kim has been doing an amazing job. So we always recommend Kim as our number one, referral partner. So, definitely, look to Kim to help you out. And she has some bandwidth. I'm going to drop her link inside there so you can check out her site. And if you need some help from her, definitely reach out for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, we have done for you services, Rob, one-on-one, a sort of side-by-side working together. But I also have an academy that has, 7 robust courses, weekly Q&As that I answer live training sessions. So you don't have to have someone do it for you. I have lots of really, lots of academy students who do it themselves with some guidance. And, that's an option too for a lot of people.
I really like that option, because lots of times, like, people need some time to do this. Like, depending on what stage you're at, like, they need some time to develop and maybe even to kind of like, work on what they're selling, and now they're ready to put. So it's like you have a partner, you have a friend that's there helping you, along the way. You're not just left alone to do it, So I like that you have that choice for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what we're doing. We're educators, right? This is why we're using Thinkific, because we're educating people on, whatever we're educating them on. And so I'm a big believer in understanding the whys and knowing at least the base level of how to do it, if for nothing else, so you can hire correctly. So you're not, so many clients come to me, and my average client has spent 3 years and $15,000 trying to get a course online. And the stories I hear are horrific. So, about being just scammed. And it's easy to get scammed if you don't understand base level foundational stuff. You don't know what questions to ask. They can tell you anything and you'll say, oh yeah, that sounds great. but are they going to deliver? And unfortunately, in many, many cases, they don't. And so
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
frustration,
It's, like, I have to mention just a side note because I had to kick somebody out of the Facebook group the other day because it's those typical, you'll see these answers, right? This was somebody asking for a question and it was like more of a technical question. You'll see this a lot inside of Thinkific's Facebook group as well.
yes,
And they'll
yes,
start saying, like, answering your question with pretty obvious, like almost AI generated responses, like generic responses. And I caught this and I was like letting the person go for a little bit. And then, at some point after 3 or 4 kind of like, back and forth with the person, they're gonna say, hey, DM me, right? I'll help. Can I help you? Just DM me, right? And then before you know it, that person is then letting that person who appears helpful, as an admin into their site, and who knows what is going to happen at that point. So just be careful in terms of who you get to help you. Like, be
yes,
wary of these random people that are
yes.
coming up on Facebook. And if you see that inside of my group, let me know, because I do not tolerate that. It was like, I don't even have to talk to the person. No warning. It's like instant ban. You're never
Yeah,
allowed again.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Do your
Thinkific
due
experts.
diligence.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. So experts.thinkific.com, Kim's site as well. Make sure you're hiring somebody that knows this platform.
yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. Well, that's a whole other session we should do. How not to get scammed.
Yeah.
Because
We
I
have a lot
see
of
it.
sessions cooked up here. We can probably plan the rest of the year, Kim.
Good. Let's do it. So this is inside of BrainyGirlU, my academy. But so what I showed you so far was like landing pages, but there's so many other ways to use power ups. So
Yeah.
this is the custom dashboard that I use side nav in here. And it looks different depending on if you are a member of the academy or if you're not. So if you are a member of the academy, this whole section is what you would see. This banner is what you would see. It looks different based on what you're enrolled in. But here's some of the things that I really love to be able to include in my membership, for instance. So this is a custom page on Thinkific. This is the cohort section, which is a power up. It allows me to put a full calendar of events in here, all of my training sessions. When you click on them, it pops up. There's a description. There's a place to register or watch the replay. And so this is a quick way for my members to be able to find the events, sign up for them, and then, as importantly, to return to their member portal. I don't want to just leave them here wondering, how do I get back to my dashboard, or what I call your member portal? So this particular cohort section that I'm using for the calendar is a fabulous tool to be able to move my members into live connection and getting them the help that they need. So that's just a custom page on Thinkific. The only ones that see that page are my members. So you can, lock that out to other people.
Totally.
The other way.
So Maria had a question on the same. So you basically answered, is like, yeah, so only the court has access to this. Yes. So this is like one of the things that people don't realize about the student experience is that you can create these custom pages that are just for members. Thinkific has a standard feature inside there where you can kind of change the security of it, right? So that nobody's, allowed to see it. But then you can do other things like this where you're creating, custom pages. So you can think of this in lots of different ways. You can have these custom pages as a way to nurture your free trial members to do more things. Or in this case, Kim's using it for her cohorts and to get access to quick replays. And, cohort is one of our power ups, but you can create lots of different types of custom pages. And the sky's the limit, really. And inside of our site page templates collections, we have this feature we call smart sections where you can say who should see this page. So now you can have different types of content appear based on enrollment as well. So lots of creativity you can really have here besides just the course cards, like 6 course cards. Right? So that's what the whole member experience is about. This experience, you want people to stay with you a long time. And, we talk about this for our fan funnel, get people in that like you, and you get people in that like you, and you feel like you're a friend, they're going to want to buy everything you have. Like it's almost like a religion at that point, So
Under
and you can
promise,
help in
over
lots of
deliver.
different ways.
Yeah. So this is another custom page that I've used SPT sections. This is just literally the text and media, text and mega media. What's it called, Rob? The SPT section, something like that.
Yeah, text and mega media banner, I think, or whatever.
Yeah. So once I've done a live training, they all get uploaded here to this particular page. So my members can easily go and find my live replays. And this is literally just a custom page with this section over and over, just changed for that particular live training session. And then again, I'm always letting them return to their member portal. So everything leads back to their member portal. and from their member portal, so I don't get them lost in this, there's probably 10 pages that they have access to. I don't want them to get lost in that. So that's just another way of being able to use these different custom pages with power-ups included. And that's not even going into, all the player snip stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really just like pages that
that's another session.
Yeah, were good examples for people to, be inspired by and think about how yours runs and things you can do to yours to elevate it using power-ups.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome job, Kim. Fantastic work. Like,
Thank you.
I'm amazed. Like, so I love seeing examples of sites, especially Kim's, because she's doing some really creative things. But really, anybody that's putting out to we put these tools together, and like, there's so many different creative ways you can use them. And I love seeing examples. And these are really great examples. I hope you guys were inspired. I know we got some really good feedback from a lot of people, and how good it is. And wowzers, I totally have to do this. I think I showed this one already, but somebody was asking about the cohort as well. The cohort power up. We'll probably spend another session on that. We developed the cohort power up really as an intention, as a client request. So we had a client that was doing a 9-week program. And with this program, it was kind of like something where we wanted to keep people focused. Like, this week we wanted them focused on this, and then the content was released in that. So it's kind of like this tidal wave of focusedness, right? So if you're doing that style, I think cohort is a great example for that, because you kind of put in these events and activities, and we have a built-in calendar for that for the cohort, right? It's not connected to any other calendar. So that was the intention behind it. And then, of course, as we put out these tools, everybody uses it in different ways, right? So you can use them for different ways, for sure. But that was the reason why we created that one. And yeah, it's available if you guys want it. If you have the Power Up Pass, you have access to it already. So yeah, Maria probably will spend the weekend looking at this. So you just converted Chris. I think I calculated you converted Chris, was a tough cookie. You got Maria working on the cohort. You got Cecilia here, like loving your lives that you do every single time. So yeah, awesome. So let's see. These comments are scrolling too fast. I selected the wrong one. So Debbie. We love our cohort page. So yeah, we got a lot of people that love cohort. It's a popular one for sure.
Well, I think that's Maria. The joy of doing things like this, Rob, is like you produce these power-ups, and generally there's like a certain reason for them. Like they're like the cohort, you did it to meet that particular need. But in this case, I've taken it out of that. I put in cohort, in that section, you say, when does your cohort end? And mine ends in like 2090 or something. I'll be long dead by then, right?
Yeah.
But I use it for the membership because it's such a great tool to be able to show them what's coming, show the replays. Here's what's this week. Register for these events. It just works so well for that purpose.
Yeah, so it's an easy way to keep that events, the calendar, like towards the members. Like, so if you go to replays.superpowers.com, you'll see our calendar. If you click the view calendar button, we use Talkify. We switched over from add event to Talkify, which is a little pop-up that is using our power-ups to do the pop-up, and the calendar appears. But this is a public calendar, right? We want people to see this. We want people to subscribe to it. It's just open, right? So you would use that sort of tool maybe for that sort of use case. But in this case, it's like you want a private calendar. Like, you don't want to have this crazy like access to calendar information. And that's what the cohort does. It allows you to kind of like make it super private to just those members, and then you just see it. That's it, So yeah, that was behind that. This is Chris. His name's not coming up. So he says he's more of a teddy bear, not a tough cookie. He is. I think he is a teddy bear underneath his his facade of no. He has some really good comments, and he tells you like it is, which is good. You need to hear that. You need to hear that. Straight shooter, which I'm a straight shooter too. Speaking of straight shooting, we are 10 past the hour. Happy to stay on longer to answer any additional questions you guys have. And thanks for all that are staying on. And I know why you're staying on, because Kim's here today, dishing out the goods and sharing all this greatness. I think I hit every question that I thought was important, and pretty much every question. I didn't throw up every comment, but if you have any other questions, let me know. Stick around for a few more minutes here. Let me just kind of scroll through. I'm going to queue up what's coming up next week again. Next week, oops, it's over Kim's face. How did that happen?
That's okay. This is the secret you're keeping from me. I think you mentioned that.
Oh, now it's really over your face.
Okay. I'm over here.
Oh, now there we go. All right, let me get rid of it. We'll get Kim back on here. So resource library. it's Resource Library Plus. We're going to talk about Student Dashboard and how to use it as a sales funnel. Just real quick, I won't go into step by step, but inside of Resource Library, we released a new section or new capability inside the bundle resources. So we had a few different options for how to show the courses inside the bundle. And one of them was a tease option, but now we have an upsell option. So essentially what that does is it shows everything the person is not enrolled in. So it's an easy way to just add like an upsell track of courses.
Awesome. I can use that for client site right now.
Yeah, create a bundle, go ahead in there. And we also, just on top of that, and this came from, actually, Ari's not on today. Damn. We were working with Ari, who's a bass player in Vienna. And this came from her little mini project that we just did this past week. And I was like, damn, this is a great idea. So we just implement it and we're going to push it out to everybody. So you can have empty categories, all right? Before, the empty categories would hide.
Yeah.
So now you can tie an empty category to a SPT pop-up, all right? So think of the person who signed in and they're not a member that sees everything and they have empty category. The empty category now shows as a locked symbol. And you click on it and now there's an upgrade pop-up. Would you like the courses in this category? Click. And then the pop-up appears. And you can have different pop-ups for different categories on top of that. It's like crazy stuff we just kind of whipped up this week, hot off the press.
And what's that? What's that? Is that?
This is all in Resource Library. All in Resource Library.
Oh my gosh. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, all in Resource Library. And then there's other things that we're adding. I already kind of spilled the beans a little bit, but it's only for those people who stuck around at the end. So they get rewarded. So they get rewarded. So, okay, let me so questions came in. I asked this one again. Do you have a way? Okay, so this is Grisha. Do you have a way to do power-ups with custom text? I'm not sure what you mean custom text. Are you talking about fonts? Maybe, I think. In particular, we have some text that needs to go on every course player. I'm wondering if there's a way to just, so I think you're talking about custom fonts, right? So inside the course player, we have a few ways to do custom fonts. So one easy way is use our Playa app. It's our first one that we created a few years ago, and it has this style editor where you can define custom fonts. Let's say you want all your heading ones to be a certain font. You can just kind of define it, and then you kind of.
Hold on, Rob. I'm just going to interrupt because Grisha's saying not fonts, text itself.
Oh, I don't know what you mean, Grisha.
Yeah, I don't know what she means either.
Thanks for interrupting me, Kim, because I was going to go on for another 5 minutes.
I know.
So I'm not sure what you mean, custom text. Like, what does that mean? Besides just typing in
text has to be in a font. Here's part of the problem, Rob, with this industry.
Oh, I see what she means. Okay, here we go. So actually, it's a good point. Yeah. So when you describe something like this, it's like, what do you really mean, right? So yes, I like to continue. You want to change the names of stuff, right? I understand what you're saying now when you say custom text. You want to tell them, I want to get continuing education, same instructions at the end of every class. So
you can just take do you know that you can, sorry, Rob, do you
know
like
a template? Okay. So she basically wants an easy way to add stuff to the end of every lesson, almost like that's kind of what it sounds like. Okay. A few ways you can do that. Mm-hmm. So number one, you can do what Kim was just going to tell you was like create a little snippet and just copy and paste it in all the lessons, right? One way to do it. Player snips, right? Another way, we have this thing called Player Plus. I know there's a lot of player things, right? Player Plus, it allows you to add some text or image and calls to action in the left-hand side, right above the chapter and lessons. So you set this up and you go poof, and it's just like in the course all the time. And you can say for all courses, like if you wanted to, like it's a way for you to inject stuff on the side. I think that's exactly what you're looking for, Grisha. Yes? I don't know, maybe.
Can I just answer this one, Rob? Cedric says the scrolling on your website is very fast. How to increase the speed in scrolling a page? That actually has to do with your mouse settings. Your own mouse settings, Cedric, how fast a page is going to scroll. So you can do that right in your start menu on your laptop. If I'm understanding that question.
Yeah, I kind of went past that one. I wasn't sure what Cedric meant on that one. Thanks for joining again, Cedric. He's a faithful diehard, just like Dennis is as well, and Chris. Yeah, Barbara, I use player snippets and very tech new, so easy. By the way, oh my gosh, Kim, I forgot to tell you this. Player
Oh,
snips.
Rob.
No, it's not something I did. It's something a member mentioned to me. I was like, damn, why didn't I think of that? So I know you have a lot of like your own little recipes with player snips, and you've been cooking those up. But somebody mentioned to me the other day, he's like, hey, Rob, you know what? You know how I changed my player snips? He goes, I just take the player snip, I put it into ChatGPT, and I say, can you change this? And it changes it for him. And
No
then
way.
he pastes the new snip in, like, so forget about the WYSIWYG editor. Just like, I didn't try this workflow, so that's why I didn't put together a video. But
Oh, I got to
almost
try
like
that. That
take the
is
snip,
fun.
and I think he said like change all text or change this text to this, and he didn't have to like go into the code. It literally just recreated the code, the snippet code for him.
So
It
he
was
put
like
the
genius.
code into AI?
Yeah, he just copied the snip. It's like a code snippet. Like AI can create code for you. So he takes the player
Yeah.
snip, which is just a code snippet, and he basically said, I have to bring up his email. What he said, it's he said like change the text to this, and it just changed it out for him. So then it saves time, like it's automatic, and then he copies that into the snip.
That's
So
wild. I love it.
okay, so Grisha's not happy here still. So to be clear, I can make text and then edit in one place, and then it shows up the same on all the places where I edit.
Or
No,
you know what she wants, Rob, is like global settings
yeah,
where you change it in one place and it automatically changes it somewhere else.
yep. Yeah, if you want it inside the lessons, there's no way to globally do that. So the answer is no. If you want it exactly there in that way, and yes, copy and paste, it takes a long time. So no, you can't do that. The best next thing is to inject the text on the side if you wanted to, and it's a little piece of text. That would be the only thing you can do. So
Did you talk about copying lessons? Did you already say that?
I didn't really say that, but it sounds like for some reason, I don't know why you would want to be changing this all the time, Grisha. Maybe it's like a promotional thing, or not really sure, but yeah, you can copy lessons as well. That's another way to do it. Have it like, so normally what you would do is you create a template for a type of lesson, right? And it's already in there, so you don't have to do that. So when you're creating new courses, you just copy lesson, copy lesson, copy lesson, standard feature inside of Thinkific.
Yeah.
So yeah, she knows that part. All right. Well, I think maybe we answered your question, but not in the way you wanted to, Grisha. But Cedric, thanks. I meant using the same mouse in my website. The scrolling is slow. However, in your website is very fast. I'm not really sure.
I don't think that has anything to do with my website, Cedric. I think it's something to do with your settings, because that's going to be different for everyone. If Rob scrolled my website, it might be faster or slower. It actually doesn't have anything.
It's just the general scrolling. Cedric, I'd like to maybe see that. Just like with all these sorts of things, we always like to, number one, see if there's a problem that we're creating. It's like, it's totally possible, right? Or maybe it's a combination of things, so which is a lot. It's very possible. So we always like to see what's going on before we attempt to solve it, right? And even the way you're describing it too, it's like, what does he really mean? So just record a little video, like, and show this, send it to us, post on the Facebook group. We'll take a look at it. So for sure. Grisha, no problem. We try to answer all questions, even though you may not like it. Amanda, is there any way to build your own SPT page elements inside of the SPT pre-made templates and not to the bottom? What does that last part mean? Not to the bottom. Is there any way to build your own elements inside of the pre-made ones and not to the bottom? So I kind of got you till you got to the end.
Yeah.
I think what you're asking is like, hey, if I see something else, how can I create my own stuff, basically?
Maybe she's asking, can you rearrange sections within a page? Like she's saying, like when you add a new SPT section, it goes to the bottom. Is that Amanda, do you know that you can just drag, there's like 9 little box icons on the sections of a page when you're building it, and you can just drag those? Is that what you're talking about? Yes, rearrange sections. They're just drag and drop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is one of those like standard features, like just rearrange the sections essentially. And you can rename them. That's another good thing to do, is like rename them so you know what the heck they are.
Oh, can I talk about that for a sec, Rob?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I see a lot of clients, like they'll come to me.
Oh, I know what she's talking about. Sorry, Kim. Sorry. She's actually
go ahead.
talking about one of our predefined templates that we had.
Oh.
So I would say the answer is no, you can't do that, because we created those originally with the thought that people wouldn't want to change these. Like, this is the way it should be, right? And that was like the way we were going to start producing these. Like, we thought it would be like, we just don't want you to think about it. Just do it, right? That's why we created this. And then we realized like everybody wanted to change it. So we just abandoned that whole sort of idea, because we thought, we know like you guys like flexibility. So no, you can't change that. And that's why we kind of moved to the site page templates model. So now everything is a section. You can literally just drag and drop everything that you want.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Kim. Sorry for interrupting you on that one.
No, I
So
was just pulling up my site. I wanted to give a quick little tip when you're using power ups, because I've seen this happen so many times, and people, clients, academy members, whatever, get so confused. I'm just going to do a quick screen share. It's going to take me 1 minute to show you this. But like I see a lot of people. So here's one of my pages. This is a back end, right?
yep.
They add a new section, and then they take out what the original section is called. So in this case, like this section that I uploaded here is called the text and mega media banner, right? But instead of taking out this name here, you might need
just
to
append to
refer
it, basically.
to help documents for that section. So I encourage clients and academy members to leave the original section type in, and then on the end, specify what that is. And that way you can always go back and
Yeah.
go to the help topics, and you'll know what section that is.
Great.
Just a little
That's a
tip
great
that I
tip.
do
Yeah.
all the time.
Great tip. Yeah, because you may not realize what it is, and honestly, I forget too. Sometimes we have so many sections. So, so that's great. A great piece of advice is like, yeah, just rename, but add to it. Don't erase it. So then you
Don't
know
erase
where it's
it.
coming from. There's that little
Yeah.
icon which tells you the collection it's part of, which is like next to the name. It'll say like, hey, this is from Text and Mega Me, but you may not know which section it is. So,
Well, unless
yeah,
you work with them every day, and like I mean,
yeah,
I go in, I might not even know the sections, and I work with them every single day. So
yeah,
if you just leave it there, then you can always refer to the help doc for that thing.
absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, cool deal. I think we went way over, but that's totally fine. I'm happy to answer these questions. I'm glad you guys stuck around.
Yeah, awesome.
Looks like we have our work cut out, Kim. We got like 10 shows, I think, lined up. All the
I'm
things.
ready.
I'll have to watch the replay again and see what did we sign up for again. But yeah, good stuff coming your way. We don't stop. Kim and I, like, we don't do other platforms. Like, yeah, we do, like, we help with ConvertKit and all these other things that are in Thinkific, but we're not like doing like, Kajabi and all these other
Kajabi and Teachable
platforms.
and all
It's
those,
like
yeah.
we've been spending years like dissect, like we know the platform better than actually like Thinkific does, because we are in it. Like, no, it's nothing
True.
against them.
It's
Like they're
true.
creating it, but
Yeah.
and some of them may actually be using it, but you don't really know until you actually start helping lots of people, and you don't
Day in
realize
and
all
day
these
out.
different things, even the way people are describing things. So, it's like leverage us for this like exposure, and so anyway, we won't stop. We're always here to help you guys, and every Friday we're just here to help you whatever comes up strategy wise and using your superpower. So thanks again, Kim, for joining today.
Thank you
I
so
really
much for having me,
appreciate
Rob.
you for everything you've been doing, using all your superpowers, showing us all these great examples. Absolutely love it. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so
And
much,
wish
Rob,
you
for
guys a
having me.
good weekend, and we'll see you next time. All right, Kim.